Hey everybody, can you hear me? What's going on? Can you hear me? Everybody, anybody?
I can hear you.
Good, good. I'm not using my headphones today because I plan to talk with my hands a lot and they always get in the way. So, how are we all doing?
Good.
Good, good to see you all again. I've seen all of you a lot this week. Yay, how is everybody doing? How are we? Well, good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon. You guys are good. We have a lot of people here today. I need 2 screens for this one. Wow. Okay. Lovely. Okay. So let's just make sure that we had like 25 people registered. So I want to wait just a minute before we just jump in. Okay, making sure my chat is on. Okay, that's awesome, Martine. That's fine. Okay. No. Do I do that? There we go. Okay. 1 second. Just give me for you guys. I can see you all and still see my notes because I do have notes today. There's a lot to cover, so I wanted to make sure that I stayed organized for you guys so this doesn't take like 3 hours for us all. So as we know, this is a masterclass. It's a little different than a coaching session. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it all to you first. Make sure you write things down, of course. And then when I'm done giving you guys the meat and potatoes of it all, then I will open it up to questions. You can ask me anything. You know how that goes. Just ask me anything. And I do also have a spreadsheet for you all of everything for the whole year. There are 12 months and 52 weeks worth of planning and cues. Priority cues, I call them, that I will be giving to you. So don't worry about writing everything down. It will be there for you. So if you're going to take a note or if you're going to write something down, let it be a question or an inspiration or an insight during this session today. So don't worry about taking notes and remembering everything. I've got you covered there. I want you to take this time, probably about half hour, 45 minutes, to just let yourself be inspired by the ideas that are coming towards you, okay? All right, getting some nods. I'm just gonna rotate, make sure that I don't have any hands raised or anything like that. I think we are good. Wow, everybody's really on time today. Yay! I'm excited. All right, so today what we're talking about is 2019, pretty much. So what we're gonna really wanna do for 2019 is be prepared, because not being prepared sucks. It really does. So what we're going to do is we're going to map out 2019 so that you know what your priorities are, so that you can know what your tasks should be. So we want to decide, what do I need to do? What do I need to be promoting? What programs do I need to be putting out there? Who do I talk to? How do I talk to them? What do I need to be learning? All of these things. If you're a Heartfelt coach, you know that we talk a lot about deep work and really perfecting different skills and tasks that you need to be doing. And this will help you all to really decide what that is and then find those resources to become really, really epic at everything that you need to do for your business, not just being a coach or a service provider, but to be really good at all of the things, whether it be, you know, communicating or conversion or exposure, growth. All of these things are really important. And now this is going to be kind of a map for you to be able to just kind of take a macro view of 2019 and say, okay, so maybe in April, I'll worry about that. And you can just put it right there in your spreadsheet. And then we're also at the end of today's session, we're going to go micro with it and actually talk about the actual priority cues for each week of each month of each quarter. You're going to have cues, questions that you'll be asking yourself. What can I do with this so that this is stronger? We're going to see what we have and use it as a tool and figure out where we're lacking so that we can know going forward. You can come to a session and be like, all right, Jessa, this is one thing I'm not sure. Please give me an idea. And then you'll be able to really stay organized and really stay on point. And that's really, really going to be a powerful kind of just like deep breath for you. You're like, oh, okay, at least I know what I need to know, or I know what I'm about to learn. And that's really going to be just a lot more ease and a lot less overwhelm. So many people come to me, I feel behind or I'm floundering, I don't know what's going on. This is going to help you to really look at it and be like, you know what, I have this and I have this. These are the two things I need this week, so we're good. We're good. And if you don't have these two things, you know that that's what you need to be working on so that you can grow throughout the year. Because what I did was I reverse engineered what I did last year. And yes, last year I did not really have a plan. I did not, but I am a business strategist. So I did go about with a specific kind of strategy. And this helped me to grow really, really quickly, to really get my name and my voice and my message and all of you out there the way that I did in less than a year. But it also gave me the ability to pivot and change and try new things and ideas without anybody even really noticing. I get some people coming to me and they're like, but if I pivot too much, or if I change my niche, or if I change my USP, people are going to think I'm floundering and they're just not going to really think that I'm legit. And well, there's a way to do that. You guys saw me do so many crazy things. It did not work, but none of you even noticed. You're like, oh, moving along. It's Jessa. She's doing stuff, making things happen. And it's because I have something to fall back on. The things that I put out there that may or may not work, I'm not trying to grasp at straws with those things. They're just new inspirations that I was like, oh, well, I got this covered. These two things for this week that I need. Got it done. So let's try something crazy. Oh, it didn't work. Moving on. Nobody noticed. Moving on. So we want to make sure that you guys have that. So it's a preview for those of you who are in the Heartfelt coaching program. That's what it's going to be. And anybody who's not a Heartfelt coach, don't worry. I still love you dearly. You're going to get the spreadsheet. If you have any questions, please bring them to me as quickly and as often as you would like to. You know the group is there for everybody. So to get started, I want to say, first thing is first. There's a lot of information and a lot of points to be made here, but there are two main pillars of the system. And it is not, finances and organization. It is actually empathy and ingenuity. Once you have these two things as your forefront, like empathy and gratitude, all those things are really important. Empathy and ingenuity will actually come really naturally to you if you fill it with gratitude. I know a lot of you have heard me say that a lot. It is very important. If you have gratitude, empathy and ingenuity are going to come naturally. And then these other elements that I'm about to give you won't seem like stressful things because you're coming from a place of gratitude. And when you come from that place, you can pretty much manifest anything, whether it's a feeling or a finance. You can really do that. So fill it with gratitude. And those of you who've been working with me, go and show your gratitude, share your gratitude, do things, make other people grateful. Let's just have a give and take of gratitude from the very beginning. So if you feel like one of these things isn't going to work for you, let me know. We'll find a way to fill it with gratitude first, and the answer will show itself. Okay? So just know that. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Now, first of all, before I even go further than that, I want us to understand how grateful we need to be to have a system, because not having a system is really, really stressful. You're floundering, you're pivoting, you're doing all kinds of crazy things that people aren't really sure what you're doing. Your friends and family aren't taking you seriously. It's really, really hard. But when you do have it, you can just be more intuitively effective for yourself, for your business, for your clients. It's so much easier. So let's just start. That's the gratitude that I want you to kind of be feeling as we go into this. You know me, I like to start with gratitude. So I'm grateful for all of you. You guys know how much I love you and I care about you, and I really, really want nothing but absolute success for you guys. So thank you. I love you. I'm grateful for you. Okay, that out of the way, let's get to the meat and potatoes. We're going to start macro here. We're going to start quarterly. And I want to start with deep work. I want us to sit in the idea of deep work. Those of you who are Heartfelt coaches, you know what I mean. That one thing that you need to have on your plate that is, I need to become amazing at this. I need to become the best version of myself in this area, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna find the resources. I'm gonna learn what I need to learn. I'm going to be held accountable by this person, and you're going to make that happen. So we've been having a little bit of a struggle with, what is that going to be? What's my deep work? There's so many different things to be working on. This is how we're going to make that decision. So with the idea of deep work, we're going to talk about our priorities. That way we can know, like, okay, I would really love to become an amazing jet skier. But that's not a priority, is it? I would love to. I see people doing it all the time. But no, it's not a priority. No, not at all. So, there are times I need to become a really great communicator. I need to become a really great networker. I need to really learn this whole not salesing, closing thing. I need to, what is it that you need to learn? So there are 4 main task-based priorities that we want to keep in mind throughout the year. They're growth, number 1, conversion, number 2, exposure, number 3, and inspiration, number 4. And they're all very, you've seen me do all of these things. You have seen me grow. You have seen my conversions go crazy through most of you are part of that whole thing. My exposure, you have seen. You have seen how much effort, well, maybe not the effort, but you have seen what has come from my efforts into my exposure and my inspiration. You guys see some of the crazy ideas that come out of my mind that you're like, what? Yeah, that's awesome. And you guys will see throughout this lesson today that I have a cycle to it. And you can look back and you'll be like, you know what? It was about November when she did that. I see what she did there, cheeky devil. And really start to understand how this worked for me. Now, on top of that, and next to, not just on top, but next to each of these 4 task-based and I guess deep work-based priorities, we have 4 main financial priorities. And before I go too deep into what our financial priorities really are, I want to give you guys a bit of a taste of how I approach money and my money mindset. And I'm not saying I've got it perfect. Yeah, I would like to be making $40,000 a month. That'd be great. I can get there. I just have to, but this is my money mindset, money and time. And we always talk, time is money is time, but really it is. I think of money in the aspect of time, and I think of time in the aspect of money. And now what's going to happen here is that when I do that, they're going to meet again. They're going to constantly meet as long as I have them balanced. If I think of my money as in time, like time frames, immediate, midterm, long-term, residual, that's how I think of money. When I think of time, it's like, okay, how am I using it? Because this is the most valuable commodity that I have. How am I using my time? And we've been talking a lot about staying productive and getting things done and working less and getting more done and that sort of thing. Very big priority for me. And they meet in the middle. And that's where I find my synergy. That's where I find my balance. That's where I find my ease. That's where I find my receiving. And that's really, really powerful. So we have these 4 main financial / time priorities throughout the year, which is midterm, which for me is the most important one. Everybody thinks about their money differently, so I'm not going to tell you how to think about that, but midterm is like 2 weeks to 2 months out. That's really, really important. We think immediate, which is great. Yeah, if I could make some money today, that'd be fantastic. And then we have long term, which is, okay, you know what, 6 months from now, I need to be making this much. What can I plan now to make that happen? Don't worry, I will show you guys how to do that. And then there's residual, which really encompasses all of them, immediate, long-term, and midterm. Really, residual is just like, okay, I know I'm making $400 today, and I know that in 6 months, there's going to be another $400 on that day, and you just know that it's going to be there. And that's a really comforting place to be. And those of you who are Heartfelt coaches, we're setting up your residual income streams now. A lot of you are about to launch, so that's really going to be exciting. So we want to make sure that we are correlating these 4 financial priorities with their appropriate task-based priorities. So for example, growth. When our main priority at the moment is growth, we're really thinking midterm, 2 weeks to 2 months out. When we're thinking about conversion, we're thinking immediate. This is happening now, conversion. Exposure, that's long-term finances that we are setting up for ourselves. So when you are doing exposure campaigns, or if you're taking advantage of the Heartfelt exposure system, don't think, oh, I'm going to do this interview and 45 minutes later, somebody's going to become a client. Yes, that can happen. It's great. But the purpose of that is for long-term conversions. We want that out. We want to, because we can use these things like the magazines that I'm making for you all and the radio shows and the podcasts and everything that you're going to be having coming to you. If you do the system, is going to work for you for a long time. I did interviews almost a year ago that are still out there, still rotating. I still get messages. I got a phone call from somebody. Somebody called me here in Curacao saying, I just listened to this interview and oh my gosh, I just want to say, and that was a year ago. And it's really does work. So that's a long-term one. You really want to have that. And then our residual income, that is where we want to plug in inspiration, because that's something that it is a little bit set and forget it. but at the same time, you still have to keep inspiration rolling through that so you can bring more people into it. Because if you're just happy with having X amount of people and not growing your residual income, it will shrink. That's the way that residual income works. And it's just because people need to have that continual proof that, yes, I should still be here. Yes, I should still be here. Yes, I should still be here. So if you're not growing it, it will shrink. So you need to have a lot of inspiration there. And how else can I serve? What else can I do? Where else can I put this message? What extra can I give them? Because we don't want churn. Churn is not our friend. Definitely don't want that. So that's really, really powerful. So these are the 8 main things that we are going to be focusing on in 2019. Really, really easy, very, very powerful. But I want us all to really understand, though, that not all of these things are going to be our main priority at the same time. So each quarter is going to be a different one, 4 different main ones. But what we want to do is really make sure that we know which of these 4 is our main priority throughout that quarter or that month even. So we're going to start the year out with growth as our main priority. But the other 3 are still really, really important. So we still have to cover all of these bases, not just that top one. But if we don't do anything else this quarter, we at least get this down. So that's really, really important. And I do have a spreadsheet set up for every month showing you in order what the priorities are for each week of every month for you. So don't be like, how am I going to remember? No, I don't know what to do. So we really want to make that happen. I'm starting to ramble. Let me go back to my notes here. Let's see, where are we? Okay. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. I'm caught up. Good. Okay, so now let's talk about how we are going to actually rotate these priorities here for you. So quarter 1, main priority is growth and midterm financials. So we want to start out 2019 with growth as our main priority, and our financial priority is like 2 weeks to 2 months of conversions of actual finances coming in. So let's say January 1st, we do something really big to help you grow your community, whether it's Instagram or Facebook group or wherever our communities are. We want to grow that. So the first week of it, let's bang it out. That way, we know that by the middle of January, February, March, then we'll have those conversions coming in. We'll be growing some things, and the message will be growing it as well. We really want to make sure that we're doing that, because growth is what's going to give us momentum, which will give us the inspiration for the next quarter, the next month, the next week, all of that. So that's really going to be important. So what are we going to be offering people? So for each of these quarters, I'm going to actually be giving you what to offer as well. And this is where we're really going to be pushing things that are free, what I call a level 1 offer. And that's going to be, for me, it will be my group, growing my group. Hey, just come in, because my group in and of itself has a lot of value for people. And then the boot camp, my boot camp is going to be really pushed out there. You're going to see me talking about my boot camp more. You're going to see me pushing it out there more. You're going to see me trying to do something collectively with my boot camp and all of your boot camps and everything like that. This is going to be the main priority for me for the first quarter. That's really going to be important for me. Moving along, sorry, my notes are jumbled here. So that's the first quarter. We really want to make sure that growth is it. That is our main thing. Of course, we still want to be working on conversion, because we don't want to go the whole quarter without making any money. We still want to be working on exposure, because people are going to be coming to you and asking questions and saying, hey, could you come to my podcast or do a live in my group? That's important. These are important as well. And inspiration, always. You're going to have aha moments, and you can't be like, oh, gotta wait to use that idea because Jessa said no. We don't want to do that. Our main priority is growth, but we do still have to touch these other 3 priorities. That's very, very important. So now we're into, what is it, January, February, March? Okay, April. Now we're in the second quarter, April. And this is where we get to really start ramping up financially, because our absolute main priority is conversion. And we're doing this in this order because you just spent 3 months growing. And if you're doing it right and you are keeping that top of mind, you are grateful for the growth and you are excited for it, you will now be in a place where you can convert all that growth into what you need to be offering. And this is where we want to start thinking about our immediate financials. And that's really going to be important because conversion is based on the momentum, and it gives us a natural sense of gratitude for the rest of the year. And it also helps us create more tools and ideas and inspiration for it all. So we want to use that momentum to build growth, to create a natural flow that will just carry us for probably the rest of the year. I will say it was about April, May that I was like, okay, I got this. I have a good, $200 a day in residuals, and it's working. And I was like, what? And it's working. I was so excited, and I got to go and, just be and go to the beach, because the first quarter of the year I was very busy, very stressed, working late, doing lots of things. Second quarter came and I was like, oh, hey, I actually just took a deep breath. Did anybody notice that? I got to do that. Yeah, winning. And it was awesome. And it just got more and more gradual and easy and just kind of full of momentum from there. But because I worry more about growth than anything else in that first quarter. So that's really, really important. And this is where we want to really be pushing our, what I call a level 2 offering. And this is something small, not huge. We're not going to put out, a $7,000 year-long package or anything like that. We're going to pick something small and inexpensive. And if you can make it your monthly, if those of you who are Heartfelt coaches, you're going to have your academy, this is where we're really going to start pushing that for you. It will be growing up until this point, but this quarter is where I'm going to be pushing you, and I'm going to be really getting you guys to really get creative about how we're going to actually, promote this heavier. Because the first quarter, we're showing that this academy has potential. It has legs. It's legitimate. It's real. Because for me, too many people were like, this is too good to be true. I don't know. But then the second quarter comes and they're like, okay, I see what's happening here, and now I'll sign up. So we want to make sure that we are definitely pushing that. And if you have something else small, like a one-off thing, like for me, I at that time this year still, I was doing 1 week things. I was doing one-off sessions a lot, just kind of letting people get to know me and my energy, because I was new on the market. I was like, hey, who's this crazy person? So I was just doing something small. So I had my academy and just small things that would just kind of pop up, like, oh, I need to do this. So if you see somebody, a number of people in your groups, in your communities that you just grew and nurtured in the heartfelt way, if you see some things popping up, just say, you know what, let's do a Zoom about exactly that. And you know what, $5 donation, that's all I'm asking. And say 30 people show up. That's really good immediate money. And then you've still got your residual income growing with whatever you have as your, if you're a Heartfelt coach, it would be your academy. And if you have something else, a 3-month program or something like that. We want to make sure that we're nurturing these things top of mind. Again, we still want to be worrying about growth and exposure and inspiration, but we need to know that this is number one, conversion. Everything that just happens in the last quarter, conversion is now for the next 3 months. That is what we want to be doing. We want to be converting people immediately. We want to be putting people on a waiting list and really moving forward with it. That's really, really powerful. And this is about the time of the year where you are going to be able to actually have a waiting list. And that, another huge deep breath to be able to take for yourself, because you'll know that the rest of the financials for the rest of your year are covered, because so-and-so is signing up next month, so-and-so is signing up the month after that. Oh, and my residual income is really growing. That's amazing too. And you'd be like, hey, you know what? Let's go take a vacation. Anybody want to come to Curacao? It's beautiful. It's lovely. Yes, Michelle, you need to come back. I don't know why you left as soon as I arrived, but I'm not smelling a conspiracy, but I don't know. We'll see. I still got some thinking to do on that. So we really want to make sure, again, the conversion is our best friend, and we give it a name if you want to. If you need to anthropomorphize conversion for yourself, do it. Definitely do it, because it is going to be really, really big for you. And then we move on to the third quarter, which is where we really are going to be focusing on exposure. Because now we have grown our group. We have been converting that growth. So we've got a lot of people who are actually active, who have that kinetic energy around you. And now it's time to start using that, using these testimonials and things like that you will now be getting. And when I talk about testimonials, when it comes to this time of year, you can use a lot of different things as a testimonial now. You can, of course, your clients who have converted and they're like in your academy, or they're just a one-on-one client with you, you can definitely say, hey, can I get a testimonial? Or they probably just give you one, but then you have your group as well. And if you are nurturing your group in the heartfelt way, people are just going to be coming in there and saying, I love this group so much. I'm so grateful to be here. Oh my gosh, this is changing my life. Dawn, yours is one of the ones that I use a lot. You came in and within like 10 minutes, you're like, this is real? This is happening? That I use as a testimonial because I want a testimonial for my community and for myself and for my program. You can use them for all of these things because we're going to use them as exposure, because what's going to happen is people are more interested in learning about something cool that's happening that they can be a part of than they are meeting somebody who's doing something cool. It's just the way it is. Oh, I can be a part of that. That's really cool. And then they come into your group and then you'll have some more natural growth there. But the more people see these things and start asking questions and sharing it, that's exposure. That is a very basic level of exposure. But then we want to use that basic level of exposure for bigger exposure, for like, radio and television interviews and books and, the magazines and stuff like that. We want to have big exposure, people inviting us to their podcast, inviting us to be members of their summit and stuff like that. And I've seen a lot of you have been doing that, and that's really amazing. But now this quarter is a time to do that intentionally. Start really stockpiling up people who are doing these things, doing summits and stuff like that. And, if you need to apply. That's totally fine. You don't have to wait for it to come to you because that's lazy business. You don't want to do that. And as a heartfelt coach, we're going to be doing summits, and you've got your interviews, and you've got your magazines, and we've got a lot of things coming for you as well that will help to bring other people in and start really picking you up and saying, okay, you come over here with me, and you come over here with me, and it'll just kind of happen naturally as well. But during this time, it's really about honing your voice, honing your message, really getting confident. So if we have any sort of blocks that we need to work through, that sort of thing. When we talk about deep work, when it comes to this particular quarter exposure, we're not talking about how do I find people who want to interview me kind of deep work. We're talking about how do I be effective with the exposure that I am getting? How do I get my message out? How am I an effective storyteller? Do I need to sit with a vocal coach? What do I need to do in order to be extremely powerfully effective in my exposure opportunities that will naturally be coming to me because I just spent the previous 2 quarters preparing my business for that to become natural. So that's really going to be powerful and super, super. And this is where we want to be offering your level 3 offering, your mid-level one, which for me is, more, I want to be pushing my one-on-ones. This is about the time where I started ramping up towards the 30-day program that a lot of you have done. A lot of you have done it one-on-one. A lot of you have done it in the group version. I highly suggest, especially this time of year, start really considering doing one big thing and doing it in 2 different versions, one one-on-one version and one group version. And really, really pushing them, and really, like, if people ask, okay, so how can we find you after, at the end of an interview, or what are you offering? Say I'm doing this. I always start with your residual. Say, what? It's inexpensive, it's powerful, and then say, and if you're interested in something even more intensive, I have this. And don't worry, there are options for that too. And really let people know, like, no, this is my focus, and this is the most effective way that I can help people, and this is what I'm doing. So one of that level 3 offering is really, really powerful, and it's going to catapult you to your level 4 offering, and it's going to feel super natural, and everybody's going to be like, thank you for offering your level 4. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And they're just going to be super excited. And a lot of you are going to realize that, oh, I see what she did there. She did that to me. She did that to me. Oh, and I didn't pitch anything to anybody ever. So we want to make sure that we really understand that there is that level 3 offer. And we want to know what that is clearly within ourselves. And we need to be able to communicate what that offer is very concisely, very quickly. No pitching. If we're heartfelt, we don't pitch, we communicate and we align. So we really want to understand what that offer is. So start thinking about that now if you want to. You can totally copy mine if you want. I do 30 consecutive days. Everybody loves it, and we move on. It's great. So that's really, really important. The exposure, it's also a lot more fun. The exposure part of the system is a lot more fun. It's a lot less like, oh, because you've already got the money coming in because the previous quarter you did that for yourself so you can take the time. And you know what? I'm not going to do too much business development this month. I'm just going to sit back and feel the glory of everybody saying, oh my gosh, you're amazing. And really just love on it. Just love on it. Because we're about to come up to the end of the year where for some people it's really tough, and other people it's like, oh, I'm going to go on vacation or go house hunting. We found a house, by the way. I'm super excited. It's lovely. All right, so the fourth quarter then, here we are at the end of the year. That is where we're at right now. And that's really where we want to take that last step to really ramping down the year and then ramping up towards next year. And this is where our main priority is inspiration. This is so fun. So fun. And again, we've filled our year with gratitude, and we've based everything that we have done on empathy and ingenuity, and we've really followed our priorities. We've created momentum. We have that residual income. We don't have to work this quarter if we don't want to. I tried it. It didn't work because I'm here. Hi. I'm on vacation. But we can really slow down and find inspiration for anything that we need, whether it's personal. Take that self-care time, take the time to really evaluate what worked, what didn't work. I had some really stinky ideas that didn't work. Okay, scratch that off the list. I had some things that worked so well for me. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Definitely. And really put that inspiration in your people. So don't fall off the map. I don't suggest we do that because we still in my group, one client area, and I'm really making sure that I'm still here, available, inspiring you, because every time I get inspiration, I'm not just going to sit on it until January, because I think I might go crazy, but just inspiration in general. What do I want to do next year? How was this year? I really want this, and I really think I could do that. Really let yourself say, if I was the bravest version of myself, what would I do next year? What would I do? How would that go? What's going to happen? And just let yourself sit with that and really be aware with it. And I do have, there's another Heartfelt coach, Linda Clay. I don't think she's on today, but she has something that you guys will really love for that as well. And there's still time for you to do it. It's just kind of, it really is an exercise that takes you through everything that I just said. Like, what would I do? What went right? What went wrong? How did it work out? What are my plans? That sort of thing. Just sit with it. And I did it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Can't wait. And I mapped out my entire 2019, and I know which months I can take off, and I know what my priorities are, and I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy. I know what I'm doing, when and where. So touch base with Linda and ask for that. It's her 2018 wrap up, or I forget. But yeah, she's got that for you all, and it's powerful. I really like that a lot. So this is where we're also not going to stop, offering things either. The last quarter is where we're really going to start really building and offering and really putting a lot of emphasis on our level 4 offer, what I call my elite offer. And that is one thing that's going to, if you can get this, then you know that the next year, you don't have to get a single client, but you don't have to get anything. You can just, this is what I have to do. If I just maintain what I just built, I don't have to get a single new client ever all year long. And that's really powerful. You want that. So this is where we're going to really be like, okay, you've all spent this whole year with me, growing with me, going through each of my things, everything from my boot camp to my 30-day program. And now it's like, all right, I am ready for what Jess has got for me now. We want people to be thinking that. And for me, it's the Heartfelt Coaches, the year-long program. I've got not too many, you don't want too many people, but enough people to say, yes, I believe in myself and I believe in you. And yeah, I want this. I want this to keep going. I don't want this to stop. I'm loving this. I'm loving the community. I'm loving the training or the education or the coaching or whatever it is you're offering. You want people to want that perpetually. And this is what we're going to be talking about. A lot of you are Heartfelt coaches, and you're probably like, yeah, I see what she did there. That's exactly how I did it. I got you guys hooked. And then here we are, and we're still learning, and we're going to be doing throughout 2019 together. And it gives me a sense of just, I don't have to struggle and push to find other clients. I can just focus on you guys, love you, nurture you, and really just come from a place of absolute freaking gratitude, you guys, because I started my year out with it. And now I have so much of it that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I get teary-eyed and I need to like get a fan. And I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful. And it's just going to propel me through 2019. So now in 2019, I could just copy and paste of everything that I just told you and double what I have. And that's not going to be difficult. It's not going to be stressful. And I know exactly where I'm going with it. And my goals are huge. I keep still trying to write down my vision statement for 2019 and I get scared. I start to shake when I'm like, this is huge. This is huge. I can't write it down. This is huge. And it's really exciting to be able to come from that place. Like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen in 2019 is going to be insane. And there's very little that could get in the way of it because I know what my one main priority is throughout the year. And so what I have for you based on everything is an actual breakdown month by month of each quarter for you. And I'll give it to you in a spreadsheet because it's a lot, but it's pretty much the same thing broken down in weeks. So week 1, your main priority is going to be growth of every month. Week 1, growth, but in a different way each month because our main priority, well, I guess in a different way each quarter, not each month. Because our main priority of each quarter is growth. So we want to ask ourselves, how can I use growth to create more growth? Week 2 is going to be conversion. So we're going to ask ourselves in week 2 of every month for the first quarter, how can I use conversion to create growth? And then week 3, how can I use exposure to create growth? How can I use inspiration to create growth? And don't worry, these questions seem like, what? How do I use growth to create growth? What? No, there is a way. We just have to think of things from different balanced perspectives. Like I've been talking to you guys all about is balance, the masculine and the feminine side of things. So we're going to look at the masculine and the feminine sides of growth and match them beautifully so that it is just organic feeling and organic looking. Nobody's going to be like, yeah, she's trying to grow her group. She just put out this whole thing to, do that. It's going to be balanced. And so for the coaches, the Heartfelt coaches, every week, we're going to be talking about each of these things. It's going to be in the university as a cue underneath the trainings and everything. This week is how do we use growth to create growth? You can ask me questions. We can talk about it in our sessions together. It'll be there. You'll have that cue and you'll also have the spreadsheet so you can kind of keep track and make notes and stuff like that for yourself as well. So that's really going to be powerful. Really, really interesting too. I'm really excited to see what some of the ideas are that we come up with. I might keep a diary of it. So let's see here. I'm babbling again. Let me see here. Went through that. Okay, that's all of it. Yay, awesome. So to recap, I like to recap. There are 2 main elements of all of these things. We got 8 things here that we really want to make sure that we are keeping balanced and prioritized. The 2 main elements of all 8 of these things are empathy and ingenuity. And these 2 things are driven by gratitude. If you don't remember anything about this, know this one thing. Everything is driven by gratitude, and the biggest pillars are empathy and ingenuity. If we're running out of ideas, if we're feeling flustered or frustrated, come in with gratitude and say, how can I help? Let's think of a creative way to help. That's what we want to do. We really want to. And we want to make sure that we're doing our deep work. What do I need to become the best version of myself at? These 4 things. Now we know our deep work. And so we're going to come in with growth. So we want to really make sure that we know everything that we need to know. We have the skills and the aptitude to grow our our community. What do I need to know? What do I need to do? You don't worry, you've got me. I will help you go do that as well. But we need to, if you need to look in other places or ask other things or, have accountability for it at least. If you have an accountability buddy and say, all right, this is what I'm going to do to grow. And your accountability buddy can come behind you and say, did you do those things that you said you were going to do so that you could get growth? And you're like, yeah, or no. Oops, that would be bad. So we want to make sure we have those tools in place for the deep work. And then we have the macro and the micro versions of everything. Macro, 4 revolving priorities: growth, conversion, exposure, and inspiration that correlate to a timed financial priority as well. Midterm, immediate, long-term, and residual. This is really, really powerful. If we can get all 4 of these kind of dancing along throughout the year, you are not going to have financial problems. Too many coaches say, I need to make money right now. And that's all they worry about. And yeah, they might make money right now, but then next month they're going to have the same problem. I need to make money right now. I need to make money right now. We don't want that to be our mantra. We want to say, I need to help people right now. I need to go out there right now. Oh my gosh, my exposure, I haven't done a live in a week. Oh my gosh, this is what we want to be worrying about. We don't want to be worried, I need to make money right now. How do I do that? That's not going to be sustainable. And that's the kind of thing that leads people to quitting and then restarting again and then quitting and then restarting again. And every time you quit and restart, you have less and less to really work with as far as momentum goes. And you have to work, that mountain just gets steeper and steeper every time you quit and restart. So we want to make sure all 4 of these financial priorities are being supported by all 4 of these task-based priorities. And that is how you will know that within 2 months, you are going to have this revolving door of income. You're going to wake up and be like, oh, I just made $200 while I was sleeping. Oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, a client just signed up. Great. And you're not going to be having these highs and lows, both energetically and financially, because it's exhausting. I have seen people go through it. No, thank you. I don't want to do that. So this is really where you're going to go. And then again, of course, these priorities, these 8 priorities, will revolve throughout each week of each month of each quarter as well. And it's all mapped out for you in that spreadsheet as well. So your homework, yes, there's homework, is to fill out, well, first ask me for the spreadsheet, get it from me. And then we're going to fill out as much as we can of it, at least for the quarters. The first page of the spreadsheet is just the quarters. So let's map that out, like at least the offerings, what we're going to be offering. There's a column there for the offerings. So just kind of start mind mapping each of the 4 kinds of offerings that you're going to want. A lot of you have your academies already outlined, and we're going to be launching like next week. So that's done. But the other 3, let's map those out. Let's see what they look like. And do not be afraid to steal my ideas. They're there for you. I do all of this for you. Steal my ideas. I don't mind. It's very effective and fun. It's a lot of fun. I love doing them this way. So you really want to outline those things. And then we want to really start thinking about our own versions of what are we going to be doing for growth? What are we going to be doing for conversion? How will I turn that growth into conversion? Do I have a plan for that, or am I just going to come to that quarter and be like, okay, time to convert, let's see how this goes? And then we want to really start thinking about our exposure, really sit exposure, what you want that to look like. Manifesting it. I want to have this person, and this. I want to do this. You know, even if it's just daydreaming at this point, it's still going to be effective for you between now and January 1st. See if you can think about that. And then your inspiration, really make a list if you need to of what inspires you and who do you have to actually bounce those inspirations off of. If you're Heartfelt coach, we've got all of us coaches, we're always bouncing ideas around, and really make sure that we're taking advantage of that and nurturing that. Find the things that inspire you and make a plan to nurture those things between now and the end of the year, so that when it comes time to actually offer your elite package, it's there because it's been nurtured. The things that you need, the inspirational things that you count on, are appreciated and full of gratitude all year long. So make a list. If it's a person, if it's an idea, if it's an activity, if you know what, just walking around in nature inspires me and it gives me gratitude, make a plan. How am I going to go about having more of that in my life? If it's about, you know, chatting with your friends over coffee, make a plan to actually do that. So first of all, I'm cool, I'm fine, I don't need to change anything major. But what I try to do is really make a plan for really nurturing and appreciating the things that really inspire me. People, places, activities, naps, that kind of thing. And really just making sure that I'm nurturing it all year, so that when I come to this point next year, I can be like, yeah, I got that. What else inspired me? So the idea is to find more things throughout the year that inspire you because you're inspired. And that's really powerful. We got to do that for ourselves, not just for business, but in life as well. Absolutely. So that is the actual training for today. There will be a replay, so if you need it, let me know, because there's a lot here. And this is where I want to make my screen fix itself first. I just want to open it up for questions. Anybody, give it to me. I'm here. I got about an hour. Anybody? Michelle.
Yeah. Well, this morning, actually, out of nowhere, an idea popped up for an offer, like an unlimited availability or unlimited access to me kind of offer. of course, with some boundaries.
Yeah.
But I was tempted to like drop it in the group right away. But what would you recommend? Like when there's inspiration for an idea like that, to just do it and see what comes out of it, or to actually have it, what you just mentioned, planned out for somewhere during the year?
Well, it depends. It really depends. So your group is growing and is pretty active. That's a good thing. So I would test it out. For me, you guys might be able to recall a lot of the things that were new that I was like, this could work, but I don't know. I actually asked, it's like, hey, who would be interested in this? And so many of you were like, please, when do we start? So I was like, okay, I'm doing that then. So maybe just test it out, like, hey, what would this do for you? And just see. If no response whatsoever, we can come back to the idea, map it out a little differently, that sort of thing. But just test it out. And if a bunch of people are like, that would actually be exactly what I need, then let's move forward, and then you and I can plan out, because the unlimited availability thing is a very popular option to be offering, but it has to be limited because you are not unlimited.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it has to be priced appropriately too.
Yeah.
So test it out and see how it goes.
Okay. Okay, cool. Will do.
I'm going to put that in your notes. All right. Who else? Come on, guys. Hit me. Elaine, I see you there. I just don't see your face. I know you've got questions. Anybody? No questions? Wow, this is a first. Normally there's a ton of them. Nobody? Okay then, no questions. Let me see if there's any in the comments, because I don't always look at that. Let me see here. All right. Okay, so here we are from Jacqueline. For quarter 3, you talk about exposure. Is that to me the time to actually be doing the activities around exposure or researching them? Yeah, well, we want to, that's a good question actually, for all of these things. We want to be preparing ourselves well in advance for that quarter, Jacqueline, for each of these things. So I would say maybe spend the first 2 weeks of that quarter really doing some research if you haven't done any yet, but this is where we're actually making it a priority to have exposure or have growth or have conversion. So we really want to make sure that we're taking advantage of any other trainings or ideas or coaches or people or relationships that we can before then, to really be making sure that that's happening for us. I hope that was clear. Okay, Elaine, I see that. I'm taking it all in. This is very helpful. Okay, well, you know where to find me, Elaine. All right, so yes, good question. And just to reiterate, because it is important, during these quarters, let's say January is coming, our main priority is going to be growth. This isn't a time to really be sitting around and say, okay, I'm going to take 2 weeks and I'm going to learn how to grow, and then I'm going to start growing. We want to start growing. So between now and January 1st, if you are having problems with growing your communities, most of you, it's a Facebook group. Some people, they have more offline businesses, so that's different, and we want to be working in a different way that way. But if growth is something that you're still a little bit like, I don't know how this is working, then we need to talk about that. There are a lot of different things when it comes to growth. If you're finding that you're just not growing, you're doing everything and you're just not growing, it's time to make a change, actually, a pivot. Again, we don't quit, we pivot, and we want to make sure that that pivot is appropriate. So it may be expanding your niche a little bit. I do talk a lot about having a seed niche so that we can really take the temperature of everybody in that smaller room instead of a huge room. And if you have a seed niche and it's just not growing, your group is not growing, people are not responding to you, you're having a hard time finding these people that fit that seed niche, time to expand a bit and see who else we can fit into that as well. So if we're having problems with growth, let's make that our priority between now and January 1st, because January 1st is where we're really going to be pushing for growth. And that's really, really going to be important. And those of us who are heartfelt coaches, I actually have an idea of how we can all kind of use each other and each other's voices to grow our own communities, because yes, it is better to have your name being said than for you to keep putting your name out there. So we can all help each other out in like 10 minutes a day in a really big way. So I'm really excited to really give you guys that. It'll be in Sunday's training in the university for you. So it's really going to be good. Actually going to write that down so I don't forget. Anybody else? Who do we have? Making sure I can see the whole thing. All right. Okay. I don't think I see any other questions. Michelle.
Yeah. There actually is a second question from Jacqueline, which also triggered my question.
Okay.
About the offerings, the level 1, 2, 4 offerings. Can you repeat like the what are the, not stages, but
the different ones? Okay, yeah, I do see it. I got lost in the, for level 2 offerings, do you do this as more of an evergreen program or do you launch a, okay. So when it comes to our offerings, level 1 offering is our giving. And it's something that we should be doing all the time. Of course, we should be doing all 8 of these things throughout our weeks and months. But when our level 1 offering is our main one that we're really promoting, that's our giving. And that's our, you know, the boot camp, anything free that you do, if you do free Zoom sessions or anything like that, the lives that you do in the week just to support people. You guys see me coming off and be like, I've got a lot of questions about this one thing. Let's all take a deep breath and spend an hour working this out. That's, I do absolutely free, fills my cup, fills them up. That's my level 1 offering. My big one that I really use though is my boot camp, because those of you who are in the university or done a 30-day program with me, you know that that is the engine for my group, is my level 1 offering. People come, they take it, they do their homework, they're inspired, they're like, what's next? Where do I go from here? And that's really, really powerful. So having that be the main thing for the first quarter is really, really powerful for you, because you're not asking for money, where everybody else around you is like, hey, get your 2019, what do they call them? The, you know, your goals, your New Year's resolutions. I don't even do them. Get your 2019 resolutions taken care of in the first month or whatever it might be. And everybody's pitching, everybody's pushing, everybody's trying to scream over one another. And then I come in and be like, hey, you want to grow your business this year? Here's something. It's free. I don't even want your email address. I just want you to get the help you need. You know where to find me if you need something more. And people love it. They eat it up. It was January 1st of this year that I did the very first day of my academy. And we were all crying. All of us were like, this is so amazing. Or like sitting there like, okay, this is awesome. This is awesome. I was really, really excited. But it was because I did my boot camp, the first one, like a couple weeks before that. And I really just kind of fell into. So I started my year, this whole year, in December, because that was when I decided, okay, I'm a coach. I'm going to do this. This is what I want to do. So I started with my level 1 offering, which was my boot camp, and I promoted it and I pushed it. There were only like maybe 30 people there that took it, and it's grown to like 1,700 or whatever there is now. And it starts with that, your level 1 offering. So that is really important. Your level 2 offering is going to be something small, but something residual if we can. So I have one that's residual and one that's not, because some people don't want to sign up for a monthly thing. So that's the answer to Jacqueline's question, is it depends. And I suggest doing both. I have a 14-day challenge, which is just kind of like a speed rush through the what I have in the academy, like step by steps, you know, if you really just need to quickly make some quick changes. And then if you want to join the academy, or like a lot of people do them in tandem. They're like, I have this and I have this and I've got everything I need to do the DIY version of the system. So people can just take the $47 thing and be on their way, or they can do the entire academy, which is $47 a month. And a lot of people will jump from one to the other, or they'll start in the academy and be like, I want that too. And that's really, really powerful for me there. Level 3 is really where we're going to start really working with people one-on-one and really start turning what we, you know, the conversions that we were making into really long-term, a lot deeper relationships and connections between us and our clients. And that's where my level 3 is my 30-day challenge, or not the challenge, it's like a program. And we do one-on-one, and we have a group version of it as well. And that is my level 3, and people go just very organically through it. And it really, really works very nicely. And I get a good 20 people every time I do it. And you'll find that your level 3 programs are ones that you're going to have as a priority throughout the year. And it's time to really decide which ones you can do more than once a year, that sort of thing. Because your academy, that's going to go all year long. The level 2s, those can go all year long, because those aren't things that you have to touch too much. But your level 3s are something that I would suggest maybe pulling out after you've done it the first time, every quarter after that. So let's get to quarter 3. Do it the first time, but then for 2020, make sure that you're offering that every quarter. And that's really going to be powerful. I'm launching mine again in January because it's the next quarter, and just helping people through that. And people will do it more than once if it's set up correctly as well. So that's really powerful too. And you can get creative when people do things more than once with you. Like, okay, you did it last time. This time it's going to actually be 50% off because you've got the foundation, you know what to do, that sort of thing. Really give incentives. So any of you who want to do the 30-day program again, no, it's still get a seat, give a seat, and it's actually half this time. So that's really a, incentive for people to keep coming back and staying with you as well. And that's powerful too. And then level 4, that's something that we will be talking more about, how to set that up and really get that going. But that is something that is going to be like, you know what, it's not that expensive for the person, but it works out for you as the actual service provider, so that you don't have to worry about the next year at all. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is keep nurturing it. And if you want to double it, you know how to do that. And that's really powerful. And again, it's all filled with gratitude. That's the first thing. So all of these things are amazing, but if you take gratitude, empathy, and ingenuity out of the system, it won't work. It's not going to work. It has to start with those things. Every day, every week, every month, every quarter, start out with gratitude and say, how can I help people? Empathy. I understand who my people are. I understand what they need. I'm patient and kind with them. I'm sitting with them. Sometimes all you really need to do is hold space for them, and they will stay with you and they will appreciate you back. And that is really the engine of it all. If you're going to have a business that is really going to have momentum, you have to maintain that momentum by maintaining your gratitude and showing and sharing it. Because that is how you create a culture. That is how you create a community. That is how you create change. And we're here to change the world. We're here to make it better. One person at a time, one coach at a time, one client at a time, one mother at a time, one entrepreneur at a time. We're here to do that. And we're here to do that together and cheer each other on. But it always has to come from inside you first. It comes inside of me, gratitude. I wake up in the morning, even though I was hungover the other day, I was like, thank you. Can I please have some Advil, please? But we really want to make sure gratitude. We are grateful for our people. We are grateful for our struggles. We are grateful that they have struggles and they're coming to us to help them. Be grateful and really own the fact that this is what I'm doing. If you don't believe in yourself, this entire system will not work for you. If you don't believe in the people around you, you won't be able to support them. We really need to have powerful gratitude and belief in each other, all of us here, and in the people that we're trying to support. Because if we don't believe in ourselves, if we don't believe that we can get that exposure, if we don't believe that we can get that conversion, if we don't believe that our communities can grow, it's not going to. So we really need to sit with all 8 of these things and really ask yourself, how do I feel about this one? Do I feel like I could do that? And if you don't feel like you can do that, then that's a deep work one. We need to do some deep work on that one, because that's going to be powerful, because you have to believe it. I can give you every single thing I do and let you copy me every step of the way. And if you don't believe as strongly as I do, it's not going to happen the way it happens for me. It has to be from you, starting with gratitude. Be grateful for yourself so that you can actually go ahead and do it. Okay, so I have some other, all right. Okay, so I have some other questions here, but Patty and June, and I think that's it. I'll be messaging you guys privately, because if I answer those questions, it'll sound like I'm pitching, and I'm not. So I'll just answer you guys privately over there, okay? All right, ladies, I am going to go get some water. I have a session soon. And if you want to come on the 4 o'clock one, ask more questions. If you have questions between now and whenever, you know where to find me. Come into the group and just say, hey, I watched it. I have this question. I would appreciate it if you guys tell people in my village what you thought of this, so that they can all come and try to get the replay, because people need to know this. It's really, really powerful and important. It's just the replay, but they'll still find value in it, I'm sure. All right? Okay, ladies, thank you. I'm grateful for all of you, and that all of you decided to take the time to come and learn all of this. And for most of you here, I will see you Tuesday, right? Yes, we're on Tuesdays now, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon, all right? Reach out to me if you need anything. All right, bye. Have a great weekend.